Good morning, everyone. I'm Tim,
And I'm KC.
and our channel is called Transcending Consciousness. For today's topic, it will be non-duality. Literally, non-duality means not two. So it simply means that everything is one. So there is no separation between you and others, the world around you and yourself, your mind and your body, myself and KC. So there's no separation. Now, this is very hard to grasp, and I can understand that it will take some time for many people to internalize this term. Because actually, in using the term non duality, you are actually ascribing a dual concept to non duality, because non duality cannot be explained in words, but we are just trying to explain it the best we can with language, which is actually a dualistic form of communication. But what can we do? This is the limitation currently ascribed to Earth. So, non duality is actually an experience. It's a very unitive, expansive experience filled with bliss and love. And many of the mystical traditions of the world, many of the world's religions have mystical traditions which is endowed with concepts of non-duality. So the examples are Gnosticism in Christianity, the Kabbalah in Judaism, Zen in Buddhism, Advaita in Hinduism, Sufism in Islam, all those things. So I really like the analogy of Rupert Spira with regards to explaining non-duality. That is, for example, if there's a certain person that is asleep, so let's say I'll just use Casey. So Casey is asleep. So in Casey's dream, he feels that his name is Tim, and he is in a certain city such as Manila. So Casey slept in Marikina in his home, but in his dream he is Tim living in Manila. So Tim, which is the persona in the dream, feels that he is separate. He can know that he is separate from everything around him, from the places he sees in Manila. But when Casey wakes up, there is this realization that actually both Tim and Manila that was in the dream resides in Casey's indivisible mind. So there's actually no separation between Tim and Manila in the dream. And that is a very good explanation of what non-duality is. And that is when all the separation breaks down, because Casey's mind is actually indivisible, and both Tim and Manila in the dream resides in that indivisible mind.
Actually, in our religion, in Roman Catholic religion, it is also mentioned there in the Bible, non-duality, but it is represented by the fruit of good and evil. Because good and evil are dual opposites. So by eating the fruit of good and evil in the Garden of Eden, you are actually, the spirit, or we are actually trying to imbibe, to experience what it means to be in duality, in what it means to be separated from each other. But in reality, it is really impossible to be separated from God or from life. It is like a fish asking to be separated from the ocean. It's really impossible. So God and life, they devised a way for us to experience being separated from God by limiting our perception, our sight, our hearing, our sense of touch, our sense of taste, So all of these things, since we are now experiencing the world in a very limited way, we finally can experience what it means to be separated. For example, with our eyes, with our sight, it only can catch the visible light spectrum. So there are other forms of energy waves that we cannot see. So because of that, we feel that we are separated from each other. But in fact, my spirit, my soul, and team spirit are overflowing, or are in, what do you call this, are merging somewhere at a deeper level. Our thoughts, we cannot see our thoughts, we cannot see our emotions, but they are just flowing out there, like the Wi-Fi or the cell phone signals, the radio waves around, they're just around us, floating, intermingling with each other, with varying degrees of frequency. So, because of our limited perception or our limited sense of self, we now see each other as separate beings. We are now immersed in this duality mindset.
Another good example about non-duality is from Jeff Foster, wherein the universe is the ocean and we are waves in the ocean. Because each of us have our own individuality, but we are part of this greater whole. Because you can never say in the ocean at what point a certain water molecule will end. So even the wave, there is actually no definite point that this is the start of the wave, this is end of the wave. It means that we are all connected. There are different waves of the one ocean. And that is actually a very, very useful analogy of what non-duality is. And that is, everyone is connected. All life on earth, whether material or immaterial things, are part of the whole, which is the universe or God or whatever we may call it. So opposites like up, down, men, women, they are all labels in this dual world. But in reality, everything is one. So our mind is inherently dualistic because we try to place a label for a specific object. Like, for example, tables, chairs, laptops, cell phones. And again, you can categorize it like chairs and tables are furniture, and laptop and cameras or phones are electronic devices. So we try to give specific labels to a lot of things and categorize it as this thing and that thing. And all of this are dualistic concepts and actually derails us from experiencing this oneness in non-duality. And it's not to say that duality is evil or bad, because that is how we interact here. And it's just to point out that even in this dualistic world, we are living in non-duality with the illusion of duality. And it's really very hard to grasp, and I don't, especially for our viewers, which are probably beginning their spiritual journey, it will take some time before you grasp the concept, because what I want or to give you is not for you to know intellectually what non-duality is, to define it, because it really cannot be defined. Because non-duality is an experience. It's only when you experience that bliss, that joy, that love, that non-duality is, that unity, that is only when you can say that I've experienced non-duality.
Have you seen the Wi-Fi signal around you? Can you see the Wi-Fi signal around you? Or for example, the 5G signal. Have you seen it, what it looks like? So most of us, we do not know what the signal looks like. So it is like, how do you describe the signal to somebody? Or for example, like what we said before, how do you describe to a blind person since birth what the sunset looks like? It's really impossible to know for the blind person. So this universal, infinite life of God or of the universe, we cannot really know it through our minds because of our limited perception. So the only way to know non-duality is to experience it. So yeah, it's really hard to explain, but since one way of experiencing non-duality is for us to expand our consciousness by practicing meditation and other forms of yoga
and self-inquiry,
self-awareness, going within, just being in the moment. So that's one way of trying to expand your consciousness. And then once you expand your consciousness beyond the limits of your physical body, then you will get a glimpse of what it means to be one with others. In my experience, sometimes I could already feel the feelings of others, or I can feel their thoughts. So, or when you are trying to expand your consciousness, you are not only enclosed in yourself, the ego self, you are more aware of others. You're being more considerate because you are now thinking of others also. What you do will affect others. So the little things that we do that you think that it will not affect others, now you are consciously becoming aware that it might affect someone or life itself. So yeah, we must develop this habit of, we must train ourselves to expand our consciousness.
So self-inquiry is actually the main method to experience non-duality. That is, you realize, for example, I feel happy, I feel sad. And then you inquire, who is this person feeling sad? I am sad. But then you feel that I, which is you, the perceiver, am sad. But who is this feeling sad? You can't be the one feeling sad when you are the one who perceives or searches for that person who is sad. So you will realize that the I is real, which is you, but the sad is not actually you. So it's a part of your outer personality, but it's not the real you. But of course, also another concept of non-duality is there is actually no separation between what you perceive and the perceiver. And when you merge to it, and that's why in some spiritual teachings, they tell you, embrace your anger, embrace your sadness. Because when you fight it actually, you are separate, you feel that it is a separate entity. But when you merge with it, you know that it actually is an illusion. It does not exist, that feeling of sadness. And it's a very difficult concept to grasp. So if you are interested, there's a lot of content on the internet, and of course you can comment down below and we will try to answer your questions as best we can. For now, let's go to another concept of non-duality, and that is in relation to quantum physics. So we know in quantum physics there is the wave-particle duality. So a specific object could act as a wave or a particle based on the consciousness of the person. So the implications here actually that matter can exist as a wave and matter can exist as a particle. And therefore, wave and particle are actually not two separate things. So which we've already discussed in our previous video about energy and matter. So simply, energy and matter are not separate. They are the same essence that vibrates in different frequencies.
Also in quantum physics, the first rule of quantum physics is that matter is 99.99999% made up of empty space. But that is not accurate. The empty space is because of our limited perception. The empty space, it seems like empty because of we do not see anything. But inside that empty space is the infinite energy of God, of the universe, of life. So from this infinite energy, they slower the God or the conscious being, slower the energy vibration to make it a particle, a matter particle. So yeah, inside the atom, for example, inside the atom, the nucleus, we have the nucleus with the protons, neutrons, and the electrons around it. The distance between the nucleus and the electrons are so vast. There's vast emptiness. But actually, it is invisible energy. This invisible energy holds the matter.
Which actually we can harness through nuclear energy.
Yeah, when you split the atom or you fuse the atoms together, what happens? More energy comes out in the tiny speck of particle. So yes, so that's it. That's it. How to? So we must shift our consciousness from our limited self, physical self, to this invisible energy in and around you.
So what are the implications of non-duality? Actually, once you've experienced this unitive, this very vast, expansive, unitive, blissful experience, you realize that you are not separate from everything, from everyone. So this is actually an experience achieved by both Jesus and Gautama Buddha. Because when they realized Jesus, when he said, I and my Father are one, and then love your neighbor as yourself, because your neighbor is actually you. So these are non-dualistic concepts. And once you've experienced non-duality, you now feel that you are not separate. Therefore, you would not in any form want to harm any other person or any other living thing or matter, that you work for the raising of the whole instead of raising yourself primarily and putting down other people. When you see this interconnectedness, so all the wars, all the divisions, they'll vanish. And it's actually a very liberating feeling.
So in other words, all the problems we are encountering today, it is because of we see ourselves as separate beings. We are using the mindset of separation. And from that mindset of separation comes the duality mindset. So when you see someone fighting, arguing, they are in the duality mindset. When you see, for example, in the traffic, someone cuts another, so he is in the duality mindset. The rich and the poor, we are in the duality mindset. So yeah, everything, all of our problems stem from this duality mindset. And once you see yourselves as one, yes, Tim is right. You will never treat the others in a selfish way. You will treat them as a part of you with love and respect. Because what you do to others, you do unto yourself.
Yes, which is both a teaching in the Bible and a teaching by Confucius. So you can see here the interconnectedness of all religion. So I would also like to say that non-duality is not a new concept. It's a concept as old as times. hidden in the mystical traditions of all religions. And this non-duality is actually a common denominator of all these mystical traditions. And when you actually experience its reality, then you know that all of these religions were actually given from God. And God does not want any one religion to be the ruler of all. But what is the purpose of religion? The purpose of religion is to raise the consciousness of the people. So he sends different people convey this message in a different manner, in a different way that is accustomed or tailored to the culture of the people in that society. That's why we have all these religions. And it's so sad to see that people go to war because of religion. Because in fact, God does not want us to be in conflict with those other people. Because the essential truth is that everything is one. It doesn't matter whether you're a Christian, a Muslim, a Hindu. All beings are one. It doesn't matter what religion you are, what beliefs you hold dear. We are all one.
In closing, I would like to share one final thought. The answer does not lie by shifting between two opposites. For example, I'll shift to Muslim, I'll convert to Muslim so that my problems will go away, or I'll convert to another religion. But this is what Gautama Buddha said, the middle way. The middle way is transcending this duality mindset into the non-duality consciousness. That is the middle way. And from there, you will see the truth. Not based on the duality mindset of good versus evil, but the truth, the real truth.
So I guess that's it for this episode. Comment down below and please subscribe to our channel. Thank you.
Thank you.